It's 3:50 a.m. on August 5th, 2025. Near Belgorod, inside Russia, the night snaps in half. Bright spears cut the sky as Ukrainian jets and loitering drones surge toward the Korochansky ammunition depot. Sirens trip, floodlights flare. Defenders sprint for the revetments, hands fumbling at straps and helmets. The first detonations hammer the ground like a drumline, rolling outward, turning gravel to dust. Above, 3 Russian Su-35 claw for altitude. Contrails twist, radars scream, then blossoms of fire mark the intercepts. On the perimeter, engines bellow Leopard tanks, and tracked carriers grind through smoke, pushing to the gates under jamming that scrambles GPS. Radios crackle, orders collide, and the horizon strobes white orange. A dog barks, then the blast drowns it. Every second tightens the vice. For the men in this depot, the next minute decides whether dawn arrives or stops here. Somewhere beyond the trees, a second wave rises faster, lower, packed with seekers that hunt heat and shape, and they're almost on target. By sunrise, a black column hangs over Belgorod. Korochansky wasn't just another site. It fed Russian guns and armor along the Donbass line. Remove it, and every convoy grows longer, slower, easier to hit. That's why Ukraine stacked the deck. Jets for reach, drones to pry open gaps, armor to finish, and EW to bend signals. One piece alone would fail. Together, they overwhelm. For Moscow, the depot was a lifeline, and Astoria told its own troops that the rear was safe. Losing it hurts twice. Shells gone, confidence cracked. Crews who once treated Belgorod as a back office now watch fire bloom over their heads. Logistics is war in slow motion. Today, it stumbled. For Kyiv, this was proof that combined arms still works in a drone-saturated fight. Loitering munitions pressed radars, jamming muddied GPS. Tanks and infantry pushed through while sappers cleared the way. The goal wasn't only to blow a stockpile. It was to show that depth inside Russia was no longer a shield. Allies were watching. Western armor and training weren't museum pieces. They paired with cheap, lethal UAV to create layered pressure. That mix said Ukraine could reach, disrupt, and exploit. It also warned that future battles would pit expensive interceptors against swarms that cost a fraction, an ugly math that favors whoever adapts faster. Costs were real. Reports spoke of hundreds of Russian troops dead, wounded, or captured. Ukraine kept its own losses quiet, but armor burned and crews were lost. Still, the map shows it plain. The depot is gone, and routes that fed Donbass must now detour. War is momentum. One night tilts weeks of plans. So choose your side. If Ukraine sees the edge, press 1 inch the comments. If Russia's payback will hit harder, press 9 and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. 4:10 a.m. The fight spills beyond the fences. Russian scopes fill with echoes, some real, some ghosts from Ukrainian jamming. Operators argue over shifting dots as Panzer crews swing turrets toward the smoke-streaked sky. First, interceptors launch. One drone is torn apart, several slip low and punch fuel stores. The depot heaves, a staircase of blasts climbing into the night. From the north, MiG-29 drop guided strikes. High above, F-16 punch at command nodes and SAM sites. Each jet has a lane. Suppression, strike, escort. Su-34 scramble to contest, but comms fuzz, GPS drifts, and one bomber veers off the scope entirely. On the ground, armor rolls. Leopard 2A 6 hammer bunkers, captured T-90 cleave through their former owners. Infantry dismounts under MRAP and M113 cover, spreading along hedgerows while UAV feed fresh coordinates into helmets and radios. Robotic mine clearers crawl first, popping charges to open narrow lanes. K9 teams and sappers follow, marking paths in chalk and tape. The stack is deliberate. Drones blind, tanks break, infantry holds each layer buying the next 60 seconds. Russian counterfire bites back. Howitzers bracket the tree line, throwing dirt and steel across the advance. Ukrainian 155mm guns answer, walking salvos onto fallback roads and ammo trucks. It becomes a duel of timing. Who reloads faster? Who dares to linger? 3 Su-35 push in low to turn the air. One gets towed on a Ukrainian jet, then a shoulder-launched missile from the tree line cuts across. A flash, a corkscrew of flame, and the fighter drops behind the woods. The other two split, dumping flares, unwilling to press into the jammed kill box. Explosions strobe the perimeter. Black smoke from fuel, orange tongues from fresh hits, white sparks where tracers chew the dark. Through it, Ukrainian commanders keep the tempo short bursts on the net, quick shifts of axes, a steady shove toward the depot's core. Ammo trucks burn, rails buckle, and shockwaves slap the tree line. Miles away, windows rattle like loose teeth. Inside those blast walls, choices shrink. Hold and risk a magazine cooking off under your feet, or fall back and watch the stockpile go. Either way, the next minute will decide who owns this ground when daylight finally burns through the smoke. 4:45 a.m. The second wave crashes in. More drones, tighter groups, flying lower. Russian gunners pivot frantically, trying to keep barrels hot. Some intercepts land 2 drones burst apart mid-air, but others slip through, detonating near fuel trucks and ammo crates. The shock spreads. Defenders realize their perimeter is no longer solid. Ukrainian armor presses harder. Leopards crest ridgelines, firing quick salvos before sliding back under smoke cover. Captured T-90 drive straight into trench networks, their machine guns cutting down resistance. Infantry squads fan out, guided by UAV feeds that mark Russian positions with glowing icons on handheld screens. Inside the depot, panic grows. Radios spit contradictory orders. Hold the line. Fall back. Wait for reinforcements. But reinforcements are stuck roads cratered by Ukrainian artillery, bridges targeted by loitering drones. Every attempt to move fresh troops forward risks another ambush. Russian air units try again. 2 Su-35 roar overhead, loosing missiles into the smoke. One missile finds a Ukrainian MRAP, the explosion scattering infantry across the dirt. But Ukrainian F-16 dive in response, firing precision-guided munitions that rip through nearby anti-air batteries. For every Russian move, Ukraine answers with layered force. Pressure mounts on both sides. Defenders know the depot is slipping away. Attackers know they must hold momentum or risk being caught in counterfire. The clash narrows into blocks of minutes. Who controls this 5-minute window? Who bleeds more to keep ground? Artillery duels intensify. Ukrainian 155mm guns pound fallback lines. Russian howitzers hammer tree lines, where Ukrainian armor lurks. Smoke thickens, obscuring friend from foe. Under that haze, Ukrainian engineers push forward with robots and K9, clearing paths deeper into the compound. Every soldier feels the weight. One missed shot, one drone slipping past, could flip the tide. This is the grind of modern war, not just speed and firepower, but constant adaptation under pressure. And here's where you step in. If you think Ukraine's push is breaking Russia for good, press 1 inch the comments. If you believe Russia can regroup and slam back harder, press 9. Either way, hit subscribe so you're here when the next strike lands. 5:20 a.m. Just as the depot seems ready to collapse, a new threat appears. Russian commanders unleash a tactic. Ukraine hadn't counted on fast, low-flying drones packed with shaped charges, skimming only meters above the ground. Unlike earlier waves, these machines hug terrain, weaving through trees and buildings, too small and too quick for most radars to track. The first strike comes sudden. One drone slips under Ukrainian anti-air fire and smashes into a Leopard, the blast wrecking its tracks. Infantry scramble out, smoke pouring from the hatch. More drones dart forward, splitting targets' armor, ammo trucks, even the EW vehicles jamming GPS. Ukrainian commanders react fast. Orders snap across the net. Tighten formations, bring short-range weapons online. Troops shoulder manpads and heavy guns, sweeping the sky. But these drones don't act like missiles. They zigzag, pause, circle back. Each second they stay airborne raises the odds of a kill. To counter, Ukraine launches its own swarms. Loitering munitions dive into the Russian wave, exploding mid-air. The sky becomes a storm of fragments, both sides losing machines by the dozen. On the ground, tension spikes. Crews hear blasts all around, sometimes theirs, sometimes the enemy's. One MRAP is gutted, another spared when a drone detonates early against a tree. For infantry, every buzz overhead could be the last. This twist forces both armies to improvise. Russia shows it can innovate, using cheap expendables to punch holes in costly gear. Ukraine proves it can pivot, sacrificing drones in violent mid-air collisions to blunt the attack. It's a duel of nerves as much as firepower. 6 a.m. The fight narrows to the depot's heart. Flames lick the sky, ammo detonates in chain bursts, but both sides throw in their last reserves. For Russia, this is the line they cannot allow full capture. For Ukraine, victory means cutting off Donbass supply for weeks. Drones sweep low, engines whining, hunting armor and infantry alike. Ukrainian air defenses pound the sky with tracers, CIWS thundering from vehicles packed tight around the assault force. Sparks rain as shells chew drones mid-flight. Still, one slips through, ramming into a T-90 turret. The blast flips the hatch and scatters shrapnel. Leopard crews push forward regardless. Their guns fire point-blank into bunkers. Infantry clings to walls, clearing room by room. Every corner is contested, grenades tossed, rifles chattering, men fighting meters apart, radios jam, smoke blinds optics, but neither side stops. Above, Ukrainian jets streak in for one more strike. F-16 release bombs that slam into the depot's western wing, collapsing warehouses in fireballs. Russian artillery answers, blasting the tree line where support units hide. The ground quakes with each hit. Inside the depot, defenders fight in narrow corridors. Squads resist until the last magazine, then fall back, leaving ruins behind them. Ukrainian teams breach deeper, finding stacks of rockets and shells already cooking off. Every step risks instant death, but the push doesn't stop. The climax is raw. One side throwing drones like arrows, the other clawing forward under fire. Steel meets steel, flesh against machines, both bleeding for a warehouse that may not stand at dawn. Medics drag the wounded, sappers cut live fuses. Dust falls like ash across both flags. Explosions ripple first ammo trucks, then bunkers, then the central magazine. A final eruption lifts earth and concrete into a rolling shockwave. The depot is breaking apart. In the brief lull, bolts clack, boots scrape, and someone counts down 3, 2, 1 before the next breach. And here's where I need you. If you think Ukraine's final push sealed the win, press 1" the comments. If you believe Russia's defense held enough to claim survival, press 9. Don't forget to subscribe so you see who truly owns the morning after the smoke clears. By mid-morning, Korochanski is gone. What was once a fortress of fuel, shells, and rockets is now a cratered wasteland, smoke still curling into the sky. The scale of destruction is visible from miles away: twisted steel, shattered bunkers, scattered ammunition cooking off in bursts. For Ukraine, the result is more than tactical. The depot's destruction means weeks, maybe months of disruption to Russian lines in Donbass. Supplies that once flowed smoothly from Belgorod now face detours, longer convoys, and constant exposure to interdiction. Each extra mile on the map is another chance for ambush. For Russia, the loss is bitter. Hundreds of troops killed, wounded, or captured. Dozens of vehicles wrecked. Air power bloodied. Worse, a belief shattered that rear area depots could stay safe while the front did the bleeding. Now, even Belgorod, once thought untouchable, lies under a shadow of strikes. The strategic echo is clear. Ukraine showed it could blend Western armor, captured Russian gear, drones, EW, and even robots into a layered strike that overwhelmed defenses. That sends a message to Moscow. Depth no longer guarantees safety, and it sends a message to allies. Their investment fuels not just survival, but offensive reach. Still, the cost was real. Ukraine lost men, machines, and aircraft in the push. The victory is solid but fragile. Russia, though bloodied, is not finished. Retaliation will come, whether through fresh waves of drones, missile salvos, or counterattacks along the front. The question is when and where. For now, one truth holds. Korochanski is ash. The night's battle tilted momentum, proved adaptation matters more than numbers, and left both sides staring at a harsher tomorrow. And that brings it to you. Was this the strike that tipped the war's balance? If you think Ukraine just carved a path forward, press 1" the comments. If you believe Russia will rally and strike back harder, press 9. Either way, subscribe so you're here for the next chapter when the counterblow arrives.